Here in Hong Kong, rest and recreation could cost you a sum. Food alone, drinks not included, could set you back by nearly 100% more in Hong Kong than in Beijing, and over 118% more than in Mumbai. But not as much as it would set you back in Singapore and Tokyo, where dining might cost between 20 and 50% more than in Hong Kong. Findings from a recent survey by UBS shows the rise in the Japanese yen has turned Tokyo into the priciest city in Asia to live in.
What clearly drove the rankings this year were exchange rates.
Singapore is not far behind, with the Singapore dollar rising over 10% against the US dollar over the past 5 years. Living here could cost a fortune. It could be worse if you're paid in a currency tied to the greenback, just as the Hong Kong dollar is. And in a city with inflation sitting at a 16-year high, costs become dearer.
And rental hikes have been going up to about 20 to 30%. And that's really forcing us to look for newer areas so that we can maintain, the level of costing.
The more fundamental force keeping a city up in the rankings is productivity growth. In a city such as Hong Kong, which sees a lot of offshore investors coming in, IPO activity taking place, prices for real estate go up significantly, pushing up the cost of living over time.
Hong Kong is probably at the top in terms of the development over the last few years. It has caught up quite a bit. We see rents this year going up by another 15% and still going at this point in time.
Not to be outdone, Hong Kong's sister cities, Shanghai and Beijing. With the RMB appreciating about 5% per year over the last 5 years, the cost of living is gradually picking up in these first-tier cities.
It's food inflation, it's fuel that has been the initial trigger on inflation, but we see it feeding through other parts of the economy.
So where in Asia is it relatively cheap and cheerful to live? The UBS survey says Mumbai. While the Indian city is at its tail end of the cost scale, in UBS's view, there's still a lot more potential for it to move up the cost rank. Kathy Yang, Reuters.